Hi, Fashion Dolls, and we are back with an all new episode closing out the month of May. It feels great to be back. It is Transformation Tuesday, May 30th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest today will be joining us, Fashion Dolls. You can see her in Taboo 2 alongside the incomparable Nelson J. Davis. We're going to get into some things in this girl talk today, and I'm super excited to have her here with me, Fashion Dolls. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the beautiful Latrece Nicole. Hello, hello. Welcome to the dollhouse. How are you?
Oh, I'm in pain, but I'm okay.
Great to have you here. We talk. You don't even have to get into the gist of it, but it's great to have you here, my love. So, how has 2023 been for you so far?
You know what? 20, 2023 is this all right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you went out for a sec, but we can hear you now.
Okay. But yeah,
It is great to
2023 is
have you
good.
here.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. We are going to get into a little girl talk here. We won't keep you long. We know because we talk behind the scenes. I know. Yes. So you are known for shows such as ATL Homicide, and you
hmm
also did Taboo 2 alongside Nelson J. Davis, who I've had on the show previously. And you
hmm
also did another one of my favorite shows, Fatal Attraction, which is a good show as well, too, on
Okay.
TV1.
Yeah,
So make
thank
sure you
you.
guys go and check that out. So tell us, how did you get your start into acting?
When I was a little girl, my mom, she's a playwright in Ohio. And I tell the story often, so if anybody's on here that have watched me or followed me, they probably heard it as well. But one of her cast members, couldn't join or couldn't be in a play because something happened, and I ended up having to go up on the stage at the last minute to do the lines because I knew everybody's lines because I was at every rehearsal. Um, and I got up there and I did it, and she was like, "Wow, you're good." But she started using me more and more and more and more, and the stage plays. Then I started doing touring plays in Ohio, and then when I moved here, I didn't get back into acting right away. I wanted to, I guess, get used to it, and I kind of was like, "Well, maybe that's not what I want to, excuse me, want to do." And then eventually, I got into a play down here through a lady named London Beverly. I did a few of her plays. And then after that, I was like, I want to try film and TV. So a friend of mine, I met her on Fatal Attraction, Brittany Passion, you guys may know her, um, told me how to go about getting into film and TV. And when I went on set for background first, I was like, oh, I actually like this. And I started submitting for different roles. And it just kind of went from there. And I was like, I like this. So it was cool. So really just kind of jumping out there doing it.
And going by faith. You
Yeah.
went, you had a passion, and you went for it. And you said Ohio. When I think of Ohio, I think of one actress in particular, Holly Berry. And she started off in the pageant scene, and then she went on to become this big actress, Oscar-winning
Yeah,
actress at a
you're
young
right.
age. Yes. So when I think of Ohio, I think of Holly Berry. And there's so many talents that have came from Ohio. So you are
Yeah,
blessed, girl.
thank you.
All right, so let's get into it.
All right.
Now you're acting because you've done so many things throughout your career, but I know you mainly for Taboo 2 and Fatal Attraction, which is one of my absolute favorite shows to binge watch. It's like my guilty
Uh-huh.
pleasure when I'm not doing this, when I'm not hosting the platform and things.
Yeah.
But tell us, what was it like being casted in these shows? Because we know the gist of it. It tells a real, true story. And did you ever have to tap out of yourself for a minute? Okay, like this is something different. I'm channeling someone else.
Oh, all the time. Sometimes you can find yourself in each character, be it it's from some type of emotion, you can find yourself in it, or you can find yourself in it to the point of, oh, I would never do that. This would not be me. So you just have to channel that particular feeling and run with it. So yeah, auditioning for it. For Taboo 2, auditioning for that one was actually pretty fun. I I wasn't even good at auditions when I did it then. I'm just okay now with auditions, if it's just my honest opinion. And I had my reader holding the phone and recording me up against the closet wall, and I'm talking like I'm in a car, like maybe I should turn sideways. I did all this other stuff, but whatever I did, it must have worked because I got the role right. But it was fun. And then with the Fatal Attraction, um, I was excited to get that because I wasn't expecting to get a call back. And for really a lot of times you just don't be expecting to hear back.
Yeah. And that's through the faith of God.
Yeah,
And that happened, and that you got it. And
yeah.
you work alongside Nelson. Nelson is like this big sex symbol now. I've had him on the show twice. So what was it like working alongside Nelson? Because it's different to see him on the lens, but to see him behind the lens is a whole different thing. And I know that you too, as a producer, as an actress, as an entrepreneur, being able to balance that, like, what was that like seeing him in a different light?
Well, you know what's crazy? Even though we're in the same series, I don't recall being in a scene with him. I know, right? That's crazy. So you see him. So I watched him on Tubi. I was like, "That's Mr. Tubi," nickname Mr. Tubi.
Yeah.
But I haven't been actually in a scene with him, or I don't even recall being on set with him. If I could be wrong, but I don't recall being on set with him because I believe our days were different if we were in the same one. Because I believe is he in Chapel 2?
Yes. Nelson, yes.
Yeah, we were on different days, if I'm not mistaken. Because I don't
Yes.
recall being on set with him. But I've heard good things about him, so.
Yes. He's everywhere. Like, and
He is
I hat
everywhere.
off to him for being able to produce and direct, which
Mm-hmm.
leads me to a part of our girl talk. How do you feel about the rise of female film directors out here? Because there's so many, from Ava DuVernay to it's so many. Just to name a few, Shonda Rhimes,
Mm-hmm.
Rena Waithe. It's so many. How do you feel
Those are
about
three
the
of my
rise
favorites.
of Black
I
women
love it.
producing?
It
Yes.
gives us, as an indie writer and indie filmmaker, for women, like hope, like you're a woman, and then to know that there's all different perks for being a female director, or producer, or writer, not just grants, but just film festivals and all that. Just know that there are different perks just for being a woman alone and a Black woman on top of that. It feels good, especially when you can go into your creative space and create something that people enjoy.
And we're seeing that the shift because we're in the industry, both of us, me as this hostess for this platform, we're both women in this industry where it's so male dominated. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like we're climb our top, overcome all these obstacles to now be able to produce and direct and get a seat at the table. Now, not only that as women, but as people of color, we are
Mm-hmm.
now having to create our own outlets.
Yep.
And we're seeing the rise of that. And it's sad that this pandemic has happened for us to understand the talent and the gift that God has already given us, the purpose that He's already instilled into us to go
Yep.
out and be able to create amazing projects, regardless of how people look at it. Because I've heard some people say, "Oh, that's just a Tubi," but guess what? It's a Black film director,
It's there. It's there. Is yours there? Do you have one? Did you put in the work to produce one? Create one?
right? And a lot of people don't understand the logist of what it takes to create these projects that you guys know and love out
Yeah.
to.
It goes. It's a lot of work behind it. Even if you're even in front of the scene as an actress or actor, it's a lot of work behind it. Let alone putting together a cast and telling people what time they got to be there or what they got to wear or this is not your lines. It's a lot playing all those hats when you do your own film. So kudos to anybody that's doing it, attempting to do it, or want to do it. Just those that want to do it, I just say do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's to anyone out here because there's so many indie filmmakers. We just recently got through with Cannes Film Festival, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, wow, is so many producers and
Mm-hmm.
directors out that could be getting this shine as well, too, especially in the Detroit area, Ohio, where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta is booming, and Atlanta is like the Black
It
Mecca.
is. It really is. It really is. It's a good time to be in Atlanta for any type of indie or film projects. It really is. I love it. I didn't love it at first, but I love it now.
And now we see that rise of actors, musicians, producers. So many is trying to get ahead in this business that is now coming forth and saying, okay, this is something that I would love to continue on to do. Check out my work. And I'm always reviewing Black filmmakers. That's why I created the whole gist of my talk show, my platform, to invite Black actors, unapologetically Black creators on my platform, because we know that in this business, we don't really get the shine and recognition that we're supposed to, from the industry. So, and
you're right.
speaking of,
but we will.
Yes, and we're seeing that shift. We're pushing the doors open and allowing ourselves to come in these rooms and be like, hey, I'm here. I'm a creator too. I'm qualified. I have all of the qualifications that you need. So check out some of my work. And it might not, I've heard stories from actors having to go to these sets and say, hey, try me out. Let me do a table read. Let me read for this character. Because the majority of the time, some of these producers and directors are just like, nah, we think we already got a girl. And let's be like, I'm qualified for the role. Let me do it too. Let me try out. You never know what could happen. And I'll give you an example. Tisha Campbell from My Wife and Kids. She said someone a part of her team literally told her not to go for the role. And she said, I gotta go for the role. I gotta go for it. She went there, she snuck, got past because when you go to these big production sets, it's like someone there guarding the set. She got past the guard let her in or whatever. She said, I'm here to see somebody. So she got in, she slipped in, and she read for the role of Jay, as we know in My Wife and Kids, and she got it. So you never know. I'm not recommending you do what she did, but hey, everybody has their method.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that she probably did that all the time. She just had a feeling. And sometimes you have to follow that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta jump, you gotta leap, you gotta do what you got to do.
Gut intuition, gut instinct. If you know it's for you and this is your purpose, this is your calling that God has put out here for you, go for it. I always knew I wanted to host a talk show. At 8 years old, what girl hasn't lined up all of their Barbie dolls in the house and pretend like they Oprah or Sally or one of the talk show hosts? I've had that experience. So now me venting out and having this platform is like I found my voice. And that's to anybody out here who feel like, I'm not being heard even in the acting aspect of it. I'm not being heard. My voice is not being heard. I'm not being recognized for my gift that God has given me. Go for it. Fight for it. And it's just like Latrece, she just said, and I agree with the girl, you got to leap 100%. And it's not an easy leap. Lord knows it's not. But
and when you leave, you feel like, what did I do?
Yes, it's scary. And we talked about this last week on the show. We talked about fear and going out on fear. And sometimes, change can be scary. And going for that change, going for that fear, going for what your desire is, it can be terrifying sometimes. But when you pray and you talk to God, because I know I do it every time before I do an interview, I talk to God and I say, God, lead me in the right direction, lead my viewers in the right direction. They're watching this platform. I want them to take something away from these interviews and these powerful, thought-provoking conversations. It's just like, okay, I'm here. I have my purpose. God has given it to me. And he responds right back to you. He'll let you know. Trust me, sometimes the gut can't be wrong. Your gut can't be wrong.
Nope.
So
you gotta follow it.
Now I'm talking mainstream because I'm not going to keep my girl Latrece here. I know she said, hey, girl, what's going on? So, all right, I mentioned the word mainstream. Let's talk beauty for a second, all right? Because me and Latrece, we spend an hour's worth of time in hair and makeup, me being a talk show hostess, her being an actress, hair and makeup on a daily, having to change it up. Let's talk a little bit briefly about the beauty industry, and this is for women at home too, because Black women, we are the key consumers of the beauty supply stores. Let's be real and honest. So I was reading an article from McKinsey, and it says that Black people's experience within the beauty industry is markedly more frustrating than that of non-Black people and filled with multiple friction points. So pay attention, you guys. Listen to the numbers. Black brands make up only 2.5% of the revenue in the beauty industry. Yet Black consumers are responsible for 11.1% of total beauty spending. Black women, we're consumers of hair, we're consumers of eyelashes, makeup, all of these things. Black consumers are 3 times more likely dissatisfied than non-Black consumers with their options for hair care, skincare, and makeup. Now I'm going to take you back all the way to the early 1990s in the fashion world. We know that backstage, supermodels, and I give you one of the biggest top-selling supermodels there is, that's Naomi Campbell. She came out and she talked about how she had to go and Latrece, you know about fashion fair. Every Black girl growing up, she know about fashion fair makeup. She said she literally had to go. She literally had to go and get her mom's fashion fair because the makeup artists in Europe and Paris would not know how to blend shades for the brown girl. And it just goes to show you how you've got all of these brands, and we're the consumers now. Like Rihanna, when she came out with Fenty, and she gave us 50 foundation shades to suit every skin tone. We're seeing all of these beauty companies break barriers for women of color, because I would go and I would look in the Revlon section, and back in the day, Revlon would not. It would only be one. It would be about Latrece's shade, but my shade for a brown girl like
or
me,
lighter.
maybe they would not be able to find our shade. That we would have to blend into with see through like all of these shades. But now you've got brands like Lancome and Rihanna's Fenty, and now Almay is starting to give shades for women of color. But back in the day, it would be Fashion Fair. And then there was one supermodel who created a brand for women of color, Iman, who married the late David Bowie, rest his soul, iconic performer in music. She went and she created her own makeup brand. She's the first supermodel to do it. And give shades to women of color, whether it's nutmeg, pecan tan, your little bit of chocolate, like me, I mean, toffee, every skin tone, she had something. So my question is to all of the viewers out here, for us being key consumers to all of these companies, why are we supporting Black-owned beauty brands as well too? I've seen Hypnotic Skin coming. It's so many Black-owned beauty brands out here. And I'm thankful that now Sephora and Ulta are now shining a light on all of these Black-owned beauty product brands. So Latrece, my question for you as a Black woman, because we both are, as Black women, consumers of makeup, all things hair. It's just like we sometimes don't feel represented. Even when they show the commercial and it's the glitz and glam of it, when we see it on television, it looks good, but it's just like, but she doesn't look like me. She doesn't have my hair texture. What are your thoughts on that with the shift in the beauty industry?
Well, I think they're just finally, because a lot of times, if we go back then, they were trying to develop our features for themselves. You know what I mean? So eventually, in the beauty industry, they have to evolve and cater to a darker color, because the world is going to be a darker color anyway here in a minute. It's just what's going to happen. So why not get ahead of it? You know, so I'm glad that it's big and it's growing or whatever, because I have friends that make their own makeup, and I make sure I support them when they make their own makeup, and it's really good compared to the stuff that's on the stores. Like, you don't, some stuff just because it's there and it's a name, sometimes it's just, it's just that, it's just a name. But I'm honored that they could finally come up with different complexions for everybody of all shades, because believe it or not, sometimes it was hard for my complexion to be matched. It would be too light, and they would have to use 2 different shades on me. And plus, of course, our skin changed throughout the season. But I'm glad that it's growing.
And I had
Look, I ain't got time for hair and makeup today, though. I see y'all gonna get this.
Girl, listen, you still beautiful. We both. I'm over here all glammed up. She's in natural glam, no makeup or nothing. We are 2 beautiful Black women. That's what they're looking at this screen right now. But I interviewed an actress, and you must have caught a glimpse of the girl talk that I had last week with Shauna Johnson. and she was saying that they did her makeup for a commercial, and she was not pleased with it because they had her looking, for women of a darker hue, we look ashy when we don't have the correct
Wrong color.
foundation.
Yeah.
Women of color, we go out here and wait. We look in the mirror, it's just like, wait, that's not me. That's not
Mm.
my color.
Yeah.
So limited beauty brands are only coming out with certain shades for a certain consumer, and it's not the woman of color. Whereas back in the day, you would have to blend your shades. Now it's just like, okay. And if you go to Walmart or any of these drugstores or wherever, they used to have it so you could test on your wrist and see if this is your foundation shade. They don't do that no more ever since the pandemic has
Yeah.
broke out. Now it's just like, okay, it's a one go-to. I remember I wanted to try the, what is it? The Revlon had something, and I seen Meg Thee Stallion. I said, that's my girl. I know I'm a hottie. I love Meg Thee Stallion. And I seen her in the commercial, and I said, God, she looks good. So I wanted to try this foundation that she was advertising, and I accidentally got the wrong shade. And then I went back a second time. I said, I'm gonna have to make something. We're gonna have to do something because I can't come on camera. I cannot come on here doing a show interviewing somebody and I'm looking like a whole ghost. So I had to go back a second time. Thank God my mom went back to CVS and I got the
Okay.
correct foundation shade. And I said, okay, so I'm with it. I love it. And that's what happens. And you go out there in that sunlight and they say you don't look like yourself. Your skin looks pale. You look dry. So there's so many levels to it when it comes to blending makeup and making sure that you know your correct shade. Now, here's another fact for you guys. Black consumers show an affinity and preference for Black beauty brands and are 2.2 times as more likely that conclude products from those brands will work for them. However, only 4 to 7% of beauty brands carried by specialty beauty supply stores, drugstores, grocery stores, and department stores, and Black brands. So definitely, we're seeing the shift. We're seeing the shift with all of these brands that are catering to us as women of color. Now, hair, that's a whole different thing. We know as Black women, our hair is our crown and glory. I don't play about my hair. When I come on here every day, the hair is on point. But and I'm pretty sure Latrece and any other Black woman at home is watching, especially if you just got it done, don't touch our hair. That is the rule. And Solange, Beyonce's sister, wrote a whole song about it. That is the mantra. So listen, hair texture. Not all of our hair textures are the same. You might have someone who has a 3A hair texture. You might have someone who's a 4C. There are so many hair. You go in any hair store or any Ulta or Sephora, there are so many hair care brands out here. It's just like, oh my God, I don't know what to try on my hair. And it's so many ways that they try to get you. They'll say, oh, this product has this product has this. And it's just like, oh my God, where do I decide? What do I try? Every day is something. I know Shea Moisture is a good product, and a lot of people swear by Shea Moisture. But it's just like, then you have Can2. You might have what is it? What's another product? ORS. Like, it's so many. How do you decide from that?
Trial
So
and error. Sometimes you gotta mix them together too.
yes, my mom, I know if you are a Black girl or Black woman growing up in the household, because I know it drives my father crazy. He's just like, wow, y'all got all these hair products in here. And I know a lot of women out here, if you got husbands, boyfriends, the boyfriends could be like, well, dang, she's got my hair has needs too. You worry about your beard and I worry about my hair. But a lot of these guys, it drives them crazy because if you look at the bathroom of a Black woman's home, we have everything from Cream of Nature, Lusters, ORS. Growing up, that was the ish for our hair. And it's just like, okay, we can't just try one product. One product might work better than the next. And I know for me, my cousin, she's got me addicted to all things Cream of Nature. And for years, I would use Dr. Lovely, but now I use Cream of Nature. And it's a great product for me. So find something that works for your hair. Latrece, and have you ever had issues with finding a hair product, or what advice would you give to women? Because we see you now in your natural stage, and a lot of women are just like, I want to go natural. My mom is natural, and it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's a journey for real. You have to really learn to love your hair because for me, I almost cut mine off 2 weeks ago.
You
I said I
almost did
want
the big
to change my hair. Yes, I want to change because I'm one. I used to change my hair probably once a week. One day you see me this way, the next day you see me this way. I love to change my hair, but I was always on the fence of getting locks, and so I got on. I said, okay, I went through the ugly phase, and I still think it still got a little phase to go. Then I messed around and chopped half of them off when I took my braids out because I got braids over them, so I got some short ones in here. So it's a process. You have to. You really have to learn to love your hair like you have to learn to love yourself.
yes. And last Friday I did curly hair. Today I'm blonde. I had reddish, about the
I
color of
like
your
it. It's
hair.
cute.
Reddish. Thank you. Beyonce, the Renaissance was the inspiration for my hair today. I wanted to do
Okay.
something long and flowy. Last Friday I did curly, and people were like, they fell in love with it because it was like in its natural stage. And I said, okay, let me be versatile. Let me play around with it. And that's the versatility of us as Black women, that we're
Mhm.
able to switch it up. We don't stay the same. We're not a one trick pony. We're always changing up our hair. And that's what makes it so unique.
Yeah.
Um, Maintaining natural hair is a lot of work, and a lot of people think, oh well, oh girl, I went natural. It's a lot of work. You know, I can take care of my no, it's a lot. My mom is natural, and she's been natural for a minute now.
Mm.
And I know right now she's doing the crochet hair because she's like protecting her natural hair. A lot of
Mm.
protective styles,
Mhm.
beautiful. Um, I'm relaxed. I'm the opposite. I've done got addicted to the cream, what they call it in the salons, the creamy crack.
Creamy crack.
Oh, dark and lovely all day, dark and lovely me down, cream of nature, all of that. But yes, even for relaxed hair, it's a lot. Now, sleeping with bonnets, satin scarves will prevent hair breakage. And we as Black women, we are the key consumers. We try to maintain and save our edges. We try to maintain everything so that our hair doesn't get damaged, especially in this heat right now that we're having. We are now experiencing summer weather, and heat can be damaging to your hair. I stopped blow drying all the way because they said, oh, what I like to call the blow fryer, because it's so damaging to your hair. You make sure that you apply something before you put any type of thermal curling. Because my grandmother growing up, we know about them hot combs and having to get the nape of that neck and everything. Oh my God, that would be the worst, especially growing up going to church every Sunday and you'd have to get it. Or you mess your Easter press up, your hair get fried. So we know all about it all too well growing up as Black women and Black girls. That's what we would have to experience. And then the Lord saved us. PCJ was created. So we don't have to worry about sitting in the chair every Sunday and worrying about getting that hot comb to the nape of that neck. And grandma said, come here, let me hold you. So we don't have to worry about that no more. But I'm so thankful that we are now seeing the shift in all of these beauty brands that are now catering to us as women of color, as Black women, because it's like, wow, I can feel included. My little girl can feel included. And what was sad is I seen a video, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it too, Latrece, where this little girl did not like her own curl pattern. And it broke my heart. And I'm just like, oh my God, what are some of these consumers teaching our babies out here? And it goes back to what Latrice just said, is that you have to learn to love yourself. It starts within.
Mhm.
So if you want to do the big chop, because my sister did it and she regretted it later.
I
But I
know. I
said,
know. I
hey,
regret it. I
the
went
best
to.
part about it
It
is I
grows
said, but
back.
listen here, I gave her some encouragement. You can either add on to it or it grows
Yeah.
back.
Or throw a
And
wig
men, you
on it.
won't know the secret to what add on to it means. We if you know, you
Mhm.
know.
Do what you
If you
gotta
know, you
do
know.
if
If
you
you
want
don't,
to. That's right.
yes. Because Black women, our hair does not grow back that fast. It's time consuming. You just have to wait throughout the years and months for it to grow. And it depends on what product you use too. Like me, I love a lot of natural oils on my hair. My mom swears by coconut oil. That is her go-to. Olive oil, argan oil. These type of oils are very healing for your hair. And I know for me, I have very itchy scalp, especially after I relax. Girl, I can't take it. And my cousin was like, I think you might inherited that from your mom because my mom, when she used to get her hair relaxed, it would itch right up in that top. But I said, look, see what you did to me now? It's passed on
Oh,
to me. Yeah, so it's passed on to me. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm starting to get it now. But yeah, that's hair
bless your
care.
heart.
Hair care needs in a nutshell. But we still have to make sure that we are maintaining and protecting our hair and making sure that it stays healthy because I'm all about making sure that we have healthy hair growth. Now, let's get into another part of our girl talk and then we're going to conclude because it wasn't going to be long, drawn out. Mental health, because it is a mental thing for us as people of color. We have been taught for so long to sweep things up under the rug. And that cycle is now being broken. We're now seeing black men. And what surprises me is that black men are now starting to speak out and say, hey, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not feeling it today. Babe, what's up? For us as women, because we come from an emotional place, we're now starting to see men speak up and talk to us about their mental health. So, Latrece, what are your thoughts on the shift of us people of color? Mainly, men speaking up and saying, okay, I'm not feeling it because in the black household, the man would just try to brush it off and be like, hey, I got this. I'm good. I can bounce right back. But it's just like, no, you're not okay. Talk to us.
Well, first of all, or first and foremost, now therapy is finally okay.
Yes.
You know, so men will reject therapy, women will reject therapy, women start going, they were promoting therapy, and now the men are finally accepting therapy. And it doesn't always have to come from someone licensed. It's sometimes you just gotta just get it out, right?
Yeah.
Or find what you cope with, what makes you feel better. And sometimes it is just talking and having that other person listen. So if you have somebody in your life that's willing to listen and say or feel your energy and know that you are off, then by all means you better keep them because everybody's not paying attention or listening. But today, I think being that everything is more accessible, so you got the internet,
Mm.
you got all kind of things that you can look at. Some men might be going behind there tapping at the computer like, "This is how I feel. Oh, maybe I should talk about this." I hope that's what they're doing, because it's okay. Talk about it, get it out, see a therapist, because mental health is real. Because really, everything starts in your mind.
And kudos to all of the actresses out here that are now normalizing it. I mean, you have public figures who are the faces and saying, hey, I've experienced this too. And our girl, Taraji P. Henson, kudos to her.
Mm-hmm. For real.
For saying, okay, I'm not feeling it today. You'd be surprised, even some of the biggest names in hip hop, the most controversial, from Lil Wayne to
Yeah.
even one of my favorite top female hip hop artists, Missy Elliott, has opened up about having depression. And it shocked me. I'm just like, wow, you would think that these people are so happy.
Mm-mm.
You
It's
got all
real.
this everything. What do you have to be sad for? That's what some people say, but it's just like, no, they're human like us
Yeah.
too. We're all human at
I'm
the
saying
end
we're
of the
all
day.
human, imperfect humans trying to be perfect.
Yes, and we put on a smile. I've learned to stop putting on a smile to mask the
And
pain. If
stop
you're not feeling
saying
it,
you're okay. Say you're not okay.
it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And people have to realize that. And mainly black men, we need y'all to stop getting in y'all egos and stop trying to be tough to impress us.
Let that
Like,
pride down.
because most men will try to do it. They even when they sick, they turn into babies. I'm sorry, fellas, y'all do. Don't let them get sick. But that's a whole different conversation. But mental health, they will be like, oh, baby, I'll just drink some water. I'll be okay. I'll be all
Mm-mm.
right. They'll try to shrug it off. And it's just like, no, if something is bothering you, you
Say
could have
something.
lost someone in your life, talk about it. That's why the wives, the girlfriends, the sisters, the aunts, we are here to listen. God put family here for a reason. And I'm thankful for the people that are within my
Of
circle who encourage me to
course.
keep going because it's not easy. It's not an easy way. And sometimes for years I've learned to just mask the pain with a smile
And that hurt
and maybe
worse.
everything will just go away. Yeah. And you still when you log off and turn it all off and it's just you there in that mirror, it all comes out. You can't
Yeah.
hide the emotion. You'll soon find yourself breaking down if you don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So to see black men normalize it and say I don't feel it, and then you have some who are still in that mindset of I don't want to look weak for my woman. Yeah, you're
Look,
supposed to protect
be
them.
vulnerable for me so I can protect you too. Be vulnerable for me.
Yes,
But learn how to
because
create that safe place too so people can be vulnerable to you.
yeah, and that's how it should be with family.
Mm-hmm.
We got to break that generation curse as people of color because for years we've had trauma with us for over 400 years, and that trauma still affects us and impacts us in our lives. And the only way to talk and get it out is to talk with someone who can understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why your wife, your girlfriends are here. The women in your life, we're here to understand. We're not here to beat you down and make you less of a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not our job. We think that you talking about it and showing emotion makes you human.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it. So thank God they are now getting out of this. I got to be tough all the time. No, it's okay to
It
cry. It's okay.
sure is okay.
And this, it's okay to say I'm not okay. So
Yeah.
break that cycle and talk about it. Because if not, we just recently lost Tina Turner, and that is one of the biggest losses that we have faced ever in music history. I couldn't even ever forget over the loss of Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing some of these biggest stars, especially Michael, and what he had to battle with, demons he had to battle with behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Sister Janet has even spoke about it too, about depression and how recording one of her albums sent her into a depression because everything from childhood up until her adulthood, she had to relive it. And it was traumatizing for her. Like she literally almost didn't record the album, which
Mm.
was Velvet Rope that we know and love. She went in the studio and recorded that album. She just gave it over to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and said, hey, do with it what you will. I've written the songs and they just went in and mixed them up. But she couldn't record that album
Mm.
because of depression. That album almost sent her in depression and having to relive because for those of you who do not know, she also been candid about opening up about domestic violence. And as women, that also can take a toll on us as
Oh,
well
for
too.
sure.
That is very traumatizing. So to hear her, one of the singles on her album, on that album, Velvet Rope, is talking about her situation dealing with domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And to any man or woman who's been in that type of situation, that can be traumatizing. Having to relive all of these experiences or seeing certain things that trigger it, knowing that this is what I've been through. And you would have to exit or walk out of the room because it's traumatizing to you. And
Mm.
it's like you're having to relive it. And it's just like, no, I'm not trying to go back into this space today. I'm
Yeah.
going to have to step out or exit stage left. It's okay to say that.
It sure is.
So definitely to anybody out there who's ever suffered from anything traumatizing, whether it's the loss of a loved one or whatever, the impact can affect you in the end result if you don't talk about it. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's called insanity.
Yeah.
And you have to break that
You
cycle. So
sure do have to learn when to say no. No is okay. And you don't have to have no with an explanation. No is just no.
absolutely. So it's your right. Protect your mental health,
Mm-hmm.
protect your well being. More importantly than anything, when this pandemic first broke out, I know a lot of us were impacted because we couldn't be able to see our,
Mm-hmm.
especially workers out here working hard day in and day out, couldn't see their family, couldn't see their children. And they're literally, it broke my heart watching some of these videos for some of the nurses out here because they couldn't hug and kiss on their kids like they want to, couldn't go home and see their kids and their family because you, you working with all of these patients
Yeah.
and there's no telling. So it's just like fate. But
Yeah.
now the normalcy where it's just like, okay, everybody outside, we're able to be able to communicate. And like this, the power of technology with us communicating and being able to get across to our family members, our friends and loved ones. Because I was just like, Lord Jesus, I don't know if I can take another day of being in this house,
Mm.
looking at these walls. I can't take it. I got to get out. And I literally would have to step outside and go outside and just walk around the yard or do something
Mm-hmm.
because you're pent up in the house.
Yeah.
And it's just like time of uncertainty. So now it's just like a cloud. That dark cloud has been lifted off of all of us. and we're able to go out and celebrate with our families and with
Yeah.
our loved
Yeah.
ones. So,
Don't take it for granted, for sure.
absolutely. All right, fashion dolls. That concludes our girl talk with Latrece Nicole. I told her I wasn't going to keep her long. If we could go longer, but your energy is just like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank
And
you.
talking to you, because this week, girl, I was just like, Lord Jesus, I can't, even though I enjoyed it, what woman hadn't enjoyed it, being able to talk to all these men and stuff. But every now and again, I love having just a conversation with another woman to find out, okay, what's going on, my sister?
Mm-hmm.
Because we as Black women, we already deal with the weight of the world on our back. And it's just like it's never ending. It's never
Mm-hmm.
ending. Being able to have these conversations is therapeutic. It's just like my waiting to exhale moment to the
Okay.
world. And
That's
I'm
good.
pretty sure that it can impact a lot of women watching it too, because in this business they expect us to be catty, but I'm just like, that's not the
But
case.
what? Mm-mm. It's
Give the next woman
not
her flowers,
necessary.
the next woman her flowers.
Yes, I agree.
So with that being said, Latrece, are there any gems or nuggets you would like for young Black women and young Black men who are watching both of us right now in this conversation to take away?
The biggest gem I always like to leave is if you have a vision for it, do it. The vision wasn't given to you by accident. Start writing it. Just start. And everything else will fall suit when it's supposed to. You just have to do it.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm going to leave you guys with the final thought of the day. Concluding our girl talk. This was so amazing. I had such a great time.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes from our girl Gabrielle Union. She says, if you prioritize yourself, you are going to save yourself, which goes back to mental health and making sure that you pour into yourself. We are so busy pouring into other people,
Yep.
but you make sure that you pour into yourself as well too. That means mental health, wellness, making sure that you take care of you. I know for me, I indulge in a lot of self-care. So make sure that you take that time, whether it's writing in your diary, therapy, exercise, all of these things that can be beneficial to strengthening your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about here on my platform, is making sure that you put you first.
You got that right.
All right, fashion dolls.
All
Latrece,
right.
let them know where they can follow you, girl, and check you out. We got to have you back again
When I'm
a
feeling
little bit
better for
longer.
sure.
Yes,
But I can
definitely.
give you some more energy because right now I can't. I don't even want. I'm sitting in the same spot and don't want to move right now because if I do, it's gonna hurt. So yes, I would. You can. We could definitely set up another one and come back. Thank you for having me. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok. I don't really use my Twitter. YES Latrece Latrece Nicole Nicole. So yes, Latrece Nicole is my tag.
All right, fashion dolls, and the clip of this girl talk will be up. Make sure you head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. Joining me tomorrow, we have Amir J. Carpenter. He's going to be here. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. Closing out the month of May, we are now going into June. It seems like time flew by so fast. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Follow our girl, Latrece Nicole. Speedy recovery to you, Queen, and
Thank
hope
you.
you get better. We're going to definitely catch up again.
Yes, yes, we do. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, girl. Get well
Thank
soon.
you. Talk to you later.
You too.